Turn. 2 seconds, guys. Turn. Right, just wait, because my dog's seen a dog. So the reason I'm doing this, guys, is because... Hang on. Turn. Leave. Where's your ball? Leave. Right, another thing is last night I was on a live of people who were sitting outside a club. Hang on, we get my dog underhand a minute. Don't want to get these ladies. So basically, all these places, it's Saturday, guys. So literally, these places are all closed, as you know. Hang on. So, just to remind you again. So, everywhere, as you know, systematic phonetics. So, schools, courts, social workers, police officers, all of those things, and all of these buildings on a Saturday and Sunday are closed. Now, the reason that I want to talk about this now is because of out of hours, and I want people to understand the difference between in hours and out of hours, and why people calling social services over the phone out of hours. That is any time after 4:30, I think it is. So about 4:30 in the weekday, prior to 9 a.m. in a weekday, and then of course there is the weekend. The reason that this is so significant is because the majority of children that are taken unlawfully, unnecessary, are due to out-of-hours calls. All the universities are closed, all the council offices are closed. So the question I ask is, why protest on a Saturday? Why demo on a Saturday? Because they're staged. Because they know that people are not going to be at work on a Saturday. They will allow people to take the streets of London on a Saturday, because as you have to remember, XR is paid for by, what's his name? One of the philanthropists, I can't remember his name. So basically they're paid by them. Anonymous are paid by someone else. What you've got to remember is you've got someone like me. Do you know how much it costs to do a demo and a protest? In terms of things like rigs, money, the boats. Now, it's Saturday and there's nothing going on down here today in the town hall. So I just want to show you again that all these offices here for Portsmouth are everything from the street cleaners through to the chief executive. So the chief executive here, who's Dave Williams, I think, he basically oversees everything that goes on in this council office and all around Portsmouth, from everything to arts and societies, children's social care, adult social care, housing, council tax, sports and societies, Dickens 2012, that's quite interesting, recruitment, work, parking tickets, buildings, surveyors, everything. So everything comes out of here of what is considered welcome to your council. So basically that is, so adult social care, building control, bus passes, business rates, children and family services, coastal defences, council tax, elections, environmental health, family information, pest control, parking, libraries, housing needs, housing benefit and tax support, free school meals, planning and development, recycling and rubbish, school admission, school transportation, and trading and standards. And then obviously a walk-in vaccination centre. And then obviously these offices, where is it? These offices only exist, I'm trying to find the actual time on the door for you. Oh, I've got security there. Don't want to catch her on camera. I'm just trying to find something that's actually got a time on it. It hasn't. So basically, what I'm trying to explain to you is the difference between in hours. So basically, when the council is open and people are sitting in their office chairs, and it is classed as working hours, right? Now, the people that are calling social care don't understand the system, and I think it's really important that they do. So say it's a Saturday night, you've got a single mum, she's working, she's having to go out and work at the night, she's got a babysitter, the babysitter is making a bit of a racket. The best thing to do is speak to the mother. The best thing to do is knock on the door to the mother, or even while the babysitters are looking after the children, and say, hey, I'm a friend of the person that you're babysitting. I am going to let her know that you're messing around. She's obviously trusted you with her children, and knock on her door. If you were to do that in a different way, and that would be to call social care and go, there's children in the house, blah, 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 or ring the police, right? If you ring the police to a situation, oh, here we go. It's called multi-agency framework. Every police officer has a legal duty, if there are children in the premises, to alert a social worker. Police only deal with criminal matters. Hello there, Claire. So police only deal with criminal matters. No social worker has the power to remove your children from you. I was trying to find a clean place to sit. No social worker. No social worker in the land. I don't want you sniffing all this, dude. Come and sit up here. No social worker in the land has the authority or power to ascertain, detain and remove your child from you. They don't have the authority. And neither does a judge. A judge is not able to get off his seat, get off his high horse, and go down to your door and say, hey, I am a judge. I am going to remove your children. Right. Children are removed for unfallible, ungrounded allegations, accusations, opinions, speculation, and poor judgment. Right? And the reason that it's done this way, and everyone goes, oh, they lie, is because every single person who has sat in one of these offices has been through a training program. If they're a social worker, or a psychologist, anything like that, they would have gone through the health and social care, social thing, policing, policies, all of this stuff. The UK doesn't have a constitution. The UK doesn't have one written document that says, we the people, blah, 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 blah. We don't actually have human rights here. The human rights actually comes from the European courts of parliament, right? So it comes from Geneva. And that was everybody that was seated in it. So therefore, England abides to the human rights when we were in Brexit. Now we're not in Brexit. We only have what's called statute law, policy, yeah? So basically, people on their high horse get to make a decision about people who can't ride horses, yeah? And go, oh, you can't ride a horse. Wow, okie dokie. If you can't ride a horse, how can you teach your child to ride a horse? Well, the great thing about being a parent is we're resourceful and we find the people that can do what they can, like how many parents can do gymnastics and do flicks? No, so therefore you pay a premium and you pay somebody for their time and service to teach your children in a class with other children or privately gymnastics. Not every parent can swim. So therefore you take your children to swimming classes where you pay the person who teaches your child to swim and you might sit and have a coffee. That's parenting. Yeah? So basically what it is there's a line of a threshold. So when you register your child as a property of the state. You are taking parental responsibility to warm, clothe, shelter, meet the basic needs for a child and the education, health, dentist, all that sort of stuff. That's what you're signing to say. You're signing to say, I am responsible, I am the parent of this child, yeah? They are stating they are the property of your child. So basically every child is then initiated with a health NHS number, and then when they're 16 they'll have a national insurance number. All this is to do with tax, okay? Now, as we know, Jesus came to turn the tables over. It didn't happen. He got hung, he got put on a cross, and that Roman Empire has continued throughout time and history. And other people have come along, killed people, blah, blah, blah. In that time, obviously, we've had a monarchy. The monarchy has set up charities, they've set up councils and appointed people per what they call a city. So here in the UK, right where I am, this is classed as Portsmouth, is a city. So we've got cities, counties, countries. So we're the UK. Now also, please remember, the French Prime Minister refused to do a flow test because he didn't want Russia to have his DNA. Then they're saying it's got nothing to do with DNA. So if somebody right at the top, who's classed as president, prime minister, or whatever it is, that person has been appointed the chief of the people, basically. So every person that's roaming around here, and I wouldn't show people on camera, I've got permission. Yes, there are cameras all the way around the city, and people know that. But those cameras are not then placed on TikTok. So I disagreed with this guy last night who was filming, saying it was safety, filming outside a club. I said, you have no idea what careers those students are taking, why they're even in a club. You've got no rights whatsoever to be recording people without their permission. And they're going, oh, but there's public cameras everywhere. Yes, those public cameras are not for the public people. They are for the police to check if there is a crime. And that means if all of a sudden the doorman's got an issue in a club, they've got their cameras. They have their cameras, but their cameras are not playing live on social media. So I said to these people, you don't know whether anybody is in protection. You don't know whether any of these students are underage, which is good, but you're highlighting them onto social media, and you can actually do this job that you're trying to do without making your presence known. Yeah, I do it. I'm around. I'm always there for the young ones coming out pissed if Dean's here on a Saturday night. But I don't show people, as you know. And I did at one point, but I think it was somebody who made a comment to me that you don't know whether that person's come over from this country or they've got stuff on, and it made me think, and I do listen to people if they make me think. If you can't make me think, then, there's no point. So, anyway, just to show you, the flags over here are all to do with pride, right? Oh, shit. Now, again, the reason I'm talking about this particular thing is because people who think that they're being good, law-abiding citizens, and especially with lockdown, a lot of people were encouraged over lockdown to self-report on people, yeah? And what you're doing is there's a difference between reporting somebody during normal hours and reporting somebody out of hours. So any reports that go through to an out-of-hours system person, yeah? This is what went completely wrong with my children and everything around it, because it was all done out of hours, yeah? It means things are done quickly, hastily, and that's why police come in. And the problem is when somebody's rang in and they've made a false allegation or a misjudgment or got things wrong, try feeling insulted. Try having somebody accusing you of doing something that you're not doing. Take the fact that, like I've said, Elijah and Shiloh weren't celebrated on both occasions. Dean told me the kids weren't his. That's his issue. But like I've tried to say, somebody else who's accusing his missus of cheating, I said it's not about what you're saying to her, it's about what you're telling her that you think she is, yeah? It's the insult. So when you've got two big burly police officers stood at your door and two social workers hiding around the corner, first of all, I need people to remember, the police are not there for you. The police are not there at the door for you. They are there for the social workers, so the social workers can enter a property. Because do remember, some people have got guns, some people are gangster wankster wannabes, some people are plastic wankers, some people do take smack crack heroin and have needles, some people are aggressive, some people, when trigger trauma, can actually murder, kill, and some people will make absolute threats and it's nothing more than fear. You'll hear it all the time, do this, I'm going to kill you, I'm going to do that. The majority of people that say that could never ever carry that out. It's just an idle threat. It's an empty, broken, I'm scared shitless and I'm going to say things that I think are going to intimidate you because I'm scared. Yeah, that's the bullies. So basically, these things here are the university dorms. So basically, you bring a child into the world, you put them into infants, juniors, seniors, and some of them will go off to university. Others won't. Some will go and get a job in Tesco, some will go and get jobs where you don't need any qualifications, but some of them children will decide that they want a good job because they want to be able to provide a nice home, a nice car. I've noticed since 2010, the MP's salary has gone up 21,000 in 11 years. The average working hour has not even exceeded £10 an hour, while MPs have had what? That's a 20% increase, isn't it? In their wages. And I know it was 60,000 back in 2010, because that's why I said I needed to earn over 60,000 because I was going to run as MP. And when you calculated it, as a mother of 4 children on PIP, with all of the added, it came to something like 37,000. Add tax and national insurance onto that, it would have meant that I would have needed to secure a 60,000 salary in order to take home a reasonable 30, 40,000 a year. The majority of people in the UK are living on 11, 12, up to 16 grand a year. That's nothing. And this is what I came to learn, because these universities, schools, do not teach you how to make money, okay? They teach you to basically just overboard. They teach you to be cattle market for the industries that have been created by their business systems. So the police is a corporate company, okay? It's called Hampshire Constabulary, yeah? So Hampshire Constabulary is a private company business. It's a corporate company. It's not a not-for-profit. It's a corporate company, okay? I've got to watch this boy's scarf because my dog will jump up at his scarf. Hang on 2 seconds. I just want to get past your scarf because my dog will like your scarf. There you go. It's hang on, what football team is it first? Doncaster. It's a Doncaster one. You don't want their scarf. It's Doncaster. Go on. You're kicking our asses today, are you? No. Up for the Doncasters. So anyway, the reason that I would just want to reiterate why I was saying these lives is because the people out there, no social worker wakes up and knocks on somebody's door without a referral being made. Some people can self-refer, which was what mine was. And mine was nothing more than moving an indicative budget from Lancashire County Council to Flintshire County Council. All that would have done is meant that the paperwork would have gone, Kellie Cottam, 34, 4 children, has Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. I wouldn't have been diagnosed with Asperger's or anything. I was already known to be a masked dyslexic, and it would have just said that due to subluxations and dislocations, the mother requires urgent medical care, and it's a plan of action for the children if she goes into care. That is the only thing that I have ever had any stress over. The fact is, I don't have anybody that would turn around and go to me, don't worry about it, Kellie, it's not a problem, because people call it drama. Kellie gets a subluxation, dislocation, like even walking up here, I've twisted my knee, yeah, so I'm actually limping, yeah? But not many people notice it or see it because I've dealt with it for so long. I actually saw a little girl sitting on her nan's scooter and both her knees went backwards, and you could tell very clearly there's another hypermobile little girl. I put a picture up of Elijah the other day hugging the dog, and it is very, 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 very clear that my child's arm is not natural to everybody else's arm. That's because he's got hypermobility, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. He had a 50-50 chance of having it connected from his mother. I told his father when he was first met me, if you have children with me, there is a 50-50 chance of that condition being changed over. When a child is born with a condition, and it doesn't matter whether your child is born with a cleft, like my son Liam was, whether they've got a birthmark covering their face, whether they've got... and here's another thing. I said to all of the common law campaigners and all the main campaigners, how many of you campaigners are able-bodied, yeah? So these campaigners are not thinking about people in wheelchairs. They're not thinking about people who are paraplegic. They're not thinking about people who have lived so toxic that they've now got cancer. They're not thinking about people who do need the NHS. We're dealing with macho people going, I don't go to the fucking doctors. I don't brush my teeth. I don't go to the dentist. All because these people have never wanted some form of stability, to have a dentist, to have a doctor, and they're the sort of people that go, well, I'm not going to the doctors. Well, I'm sorry, but if you've got testicle cancer, you're going to the fucking doctors, mate. If you've got lung cancer, you're going to have to go to the doctors. I have already, because of the smear campaign, not the smear campaign against me that's been going on since I first came out, but the smear campaign as in women need to have a smear. Because of that smear, as you know, Jade Gooding put off that smear and didn't go. So by the time she had a smear, the cancer was so damn bad in her that she wasn't able to do anything about it and died, yeah? I went early and my cells had changed and we were detected that. I've had co-coagulation, which basically means that they open your legs in a bunch of stirrups, they go right to where all the cells are around your cervix and they freeze them. I've also had laser because I came back and my cells had come back, blah, 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 blah. So I've had all my cervix lasered. So if I tell a man, if your penis enters my vagina, it really hurts my fucking cervix, that's why. Because I've had my cervix completely sliced off at the top. So all these things matter. And the problem is other people turn them into drama, right? If you've got a mum and you think her house is starting to clutter up, right? You want to ask yourself, has she subluxed her hip this week? Okay, so if she subluxed her hip this week, it means she's finding it difficult to pick things up off the floor. Yes, you can get things that help you pick things up. But in order to do this, you need somebody to educate you and teach you about how to manage your condition, okay? And that doesn't matter if it's diabetes. It doesn't matter if it's autism. Not that autism is a disability, it's actually a gift. And this is the problem with the system. Because they think that people are not all perfect. Nobody's perfect. I'm far from living my perfect life. If I was, mate, I'd be swinging from chandeliers on ropes. So there's a lot I would like to be doing if I didn't have EDS. But it doesn't mean that I should be denied to do the things that I love because of a condition that I have that warrants in subluxations and dislocations. And if my child has a subluxation and a dislocation, that doesn't warrant for child protection to treat me like an abuser. Or the parents or family around my children, yeah? And I've told people very clearly lately that I'm getting on with Elijah and Shiloh's legacy soon, right? I'm getting on with Elijah and Shiloh's stuff. That means Elijah will have his London School of Hip Hop and Shiloh will have his skating classes and my children will have their own money, okay? I have every intentions of the boys being pretty wealthy. They will be able to do what they love and money isn't going to be their issue by the time they come to an age where they may want to go to university and they're not going to have to worry about $3,000 to $4,000 a year or whatever it may be. Or if they're an international student going off to study, they're not worried about the $20,000 or the $11,000. It's a lot more for international students, by the way. Hence why our students lose out, because the universities make more money through international students than our own. And of course, a lot of people want to go on grants. So, that's a problem as well. So what I was going to say is, if there's an emergency, if you see somebody beating a child, mate, and I mean fucking beating a child, yes, every person has a right to intervene. And then there has to be some form of service that turns around to that person and says, what you're doing is wrong. Like, I know somebody who thinks it's okay to do something because their father treated them that way, therefore they think it's okay because they've grown up witnessing, you know, that sort of environment. Somebody has to turn around and go, I know you love your parents, but how they treated you was actually wrong, and you don't carry on this behaviour into your next generation. You know, so, I mean, I tried doing the same with breaking the teenage pregnancy cycle in our family. I failed, you know, because I had everybody going, you know, you're going to be a teenage mum, you're going to be a teenage mum. I had nobody having expectations and dreams other than me not becoming a teenage mum. And at the end of the day, even if someone does become a teenage mum, they're going to have to work with the services. They're going to have to work with people around them that can help keep them in their education, keep them in a career, and keep them moving forward, and help them with the fact that they won't understand the processes of a healthy relationship. We don't live in a system that taps you on the shoulders and says, hey, love, there's a better way. Don't worry about it. Nobody's ever showed you. We're not here to criticise. We're not here to condemn. They actually come in with size 10 feet, and they come in with what's called cut and pastes. So basically, they've regurgitated something from a book. So take Piaget for an example with Mary Donaldson, about insecure and secure attachments. So Mary Donaldson basically studied children who were left by their parents to see whether they had an insecure or a secure attachment, yeah? So basically, Mary Donaldson would have then wrote a load of passages based on a hypothesis, which is a testative example of about 100 people. That's it. And our whole world is measured on that. Like the vaccination. The vaccination was a pilot to see if RDNA works to reproduce your body if they were to put in a virus, basically. So that's what lockdown was about. So basically, so many councils through Davos all came together and said, yep, our countries are willing to try this, and we're going to give you a sample of so many people for you to try this on, and we're going to see what the variants are, yeah? So basically, our DNA is not something that they put in your body, it's something that's already in your body, which is self-healing. I've been trying to tell people for a long time that most conditions are incurable, which means that outside they cannot be cured by man's hands, they can only be cured by the mother nature that works within our body. Our bodies are waterproof, our bodies are protected, our bones really don't break unless you really put them through some form of real stress. And pretty much we are quite healthy beings, as much as people are drained of energy because they eat too much sugar, people drink coffee, people drink fizzy drinks, people eat processed food, people eat dumbed down food. Most of our fruit and veg has got too many pesticides and too many things on. That's why people are tired, that's why people are listless, that's why people don't have energy, that's why people are feeling depressed, because they're not eating right. And doctors are just pumping out pills. The pharmaceutical companies are making so much fucking money on antidepressants, anxiety, all over mental health. A pill for this, a pill for that. There's no such thing as all of these different diagnoses that they're giving you. It is nothing more than a residual of your past thoughts and actions. Yes, there are chromosome deficiencies. That's completely something different. Like I've said, they've created a broken society of broken, conscious people. Even AI has become conscious, which means it's thinking for itself, which means that it's rationalising, working things out. And that's okay. But we as human beings haven't been doing that for a long time, because we've been so grained into a system that thinks for us, tells us what to do, when to do, how to do this, how to do that. And if you're on benefits, they really couldn't give a shit if you sat in front of the telly all day, as long as you're not a drain on society. And this is really sad, because you can't do that to people with physical conditions. They need to be part of society. They need to be integrated. If somebody tells you that they love something so much but they haven't got the confidence, well, then work on that confidence. And that's not what the system does. It doesn't. It doesn't say, it's okay, you've got this dream. So say I go up in the ropes. All right, so before I go, use this as an example. I've always needed a dance partner, yeah? And the reason that I need a dance partner is because there's lifts and moves that I need a dance partner to do that. I need somebody that if they pull my arm, they know how to manage my arm, because if they grab an ankle or grab an arm, they're going to sublux my joints, yeah? So I have to train with somebody who first of all believes that's how my body works. If you don't believe that's how my body works, then you don't understand that when I wake up, my hands really tight. It's like having Rick and Morphus. I really struggle. I do experience a lot of pain. My body doesn't hurt so much in terms of the just the hypermobility side of it. That's me learning my range. You know, when Elijah's sitting there with his arm over the dog, that's Elijah not learning his range. And this is where it's important that any person who spends any time with my kids, I don't need people going, oh, don't do that, oh, that doesn't happen, or why does that happen? I just need people that get on with it, and they just watch my kids running around the park. But if they see them sitting in a W with their legs, you know, you just remind them to bring their legs in, because it tears the knees. And when they might not have so many problems when they're like 5, 6, 7, but when they're getting 8, 9, 10, mate, it's getting painful. And then all the doctors will go, it's growing pains, it's growing pains. It's not growing pains. So if my child subluxes himself, I need people that go, yes, he has. And the only person who really knows how to get it back in is a chiropractor. So, you know, all this palaver and all this stuff with A&E, I don't need to deal with out of hours or in hours. I just need my own team, my own company. It's no different than Dean with his DJing. Yeah, he needs people focusing on what he's doing. He doesn't need people that are focusing on him trying to work in Tesco's. So the job centre doesn't work for somebody like him, you know, and you couldn't ask someone like him to go and do them sort of things because his head couldn't cope with it. You know, the world isn't designed for us all. It's designed for a majority people, and the majority are being condemned for a minority that are criminals. Hence all the satellites, hence all the videos, hence all the CTV. And everyone wants to keep people safe. Well, people have got to learn to keep themselves safe. People have got to learn to self-guard themselves, and that's what social care should be doing. It shouldn't all be about this emotional, physical, sexual. It should be, have they been through a traumatic experience, yes or no? Are they doing what they love? And how do we help them achieve doing what they love? If someone wants to be an Olympic snowboarder, mate, let them. So anyway, stop ringing out of hours and causing child protection and statutory meetings on families that you know fuck all about.